Hi, I'm Sophie Gebeil. I'm a lecturer at the Aix-Marseille University, and my research focuses on how the past is portrayed online since the early 2000s through the French Web Archive. In this short presentation, I would like to emphasize that a corpus belonging to a web sphere can be studied according to a multiscalar approach, grasping the phenomenon in the light of local, national, and global dynamics. So, as a historian, I would like to discuss the fact that we need to combine the temporal and geographical aspects to study a web-based corpus. To illustrate my point, I will take a key European event that is the remembrance of the 30th anniversary of the fall of the Berlin Wall, which began on the 9th November 1989.
Well, if I want to investigate how the event was portrayed online in 2019 and to understand the commemoration features, I need more information about the previous ones, such as the 20th in 2009. And thanks to the Web Archive, it is possible in a part. In a historical perspective, two other points are important. First, I have to identify the groups, individuals, and institutions that had created content related to the event on the web in 2019, which is the social dimension. Second, I have to specify the pace of the online commemoration, which is the temporal dimension. For example, does the 9th November correspond to a peak or not? But beyond those two dimensions, I have to take into account the different geographic scales. Indeed, like any other event observable online, the commemoration of the collapse of the Berlin Wall is historically and socially but also geographically situated. The choice of the scale of analysis depends on the point of view we want to study. The fall of the Berlin Wall is first and foremost a city event, named in German Mauerfall, and whose people of Berlin were the historical actors. Through various actions, the people of Berlin fought to stop the barrier that divided them. So we have to consider how the institutions and the city and the people of Berlin have used the web to put in visibility their own vision of the event and to celebrate the 30th anniversary in 2019. For instance, here we can see a specific website dedicated to the remembrance. The city had created it. This first step flows us in a second obvious scale, which is the national scale. Indeed, the Berlin Wall was a physical barrier between the former two German states. The beginning of the collapse of the wall on the 9th November 1989 is of course a national event called Die Wende in German, which means the turning point. It symbolized the start of the German reunification process. The study of commemorations on the national web, .de, would then focus on how the event is mobilized to address issues related to the 2019. In a context of migrant crisis and rising populism, Angela Merkel championed the democracy in her discourse of the 9th November 2019. At the subnational level, we would then need to see how the lenders have recalled the memory of the event by looking at the legacy of the division into two states. The third case that comes to mind is the European one. The fall of the Berlin Wall meant also the destruction of the physical barrier that also had separated Europe into for 3 decades. The fall of the wall marks a turning point in the European construction since it symbolizes the decline of communism and the beginning of the common market expansion. So, of course, we need to collect and study the institutional communication broadcasted online by the European Commission, like this video broadcasted on YouTube on the 7th November 2019. Then, this praise of unification carried by the European Union must be confronted with the celebrations emanating from each state. On the one hand, this international comparison within Europe undoubtedly shows the divergence of interests. On the other hand, a content analysis allows us to consider how the reticence of the time is or is not recalled today. such as the reluctances of Margaret Thatcher and François Mitterrand to reunite Germany in 1989. With regard to this major event, a fourth scale is needed, the global scale. The fall of the wall symbolizes, through the erasing of the Iron Curtain, the victory of the Americans and their allies over the communist USSR in the context of the Cold War. The different interpretations of the event by the Russian and American media bear witness to the balance of power in 2019. These discourses must be taken into account because some Europeans also share them, especially on social media. From these four fundamental scales, we can now mix different dynamics. That brings me to my last point, which focuses on crossing scales. Returning to the European scale, in addition to the .eu, we can choose to observe how the digital links draw a map of the world's anniversary commemorations on the web in 2019. One page may link to another for diplomatic or partnership reasons and so on. Transnational communities based in different countries also participate in the creation of these links. For instance, a content dedicated to this topic on the .cz domain referred to another content published on the .gt domain. Here, this is the case of the Czech diaspora from the former Czechoslovakia, whose history is marked by the Iron Curtain and who perpetuates the memory of Czech immigrants who, before 1989, crossed the wall to get away. Then, this link graph related to the wall anniversary can be analyzed in articulation with geographical locations of the published content thanks to the location data. Here we can see an example made by Teresa Graziano in eDiaspora's project about Italian diaspora online. The graph of links is compared to the location of the place where the content were published. Moreover, by being researchers based in several countries, we can also study precisely how local and low visibility content deals with the war's anniversary in our respective national web spheres. For example, in the French web archives, I found this page broadcasted on the website of the town of Gagny in 2019. Gagny is a small French city located in the Paris region. Why is this city particularly interested in the fall of the Berlin Wall? Only the microhistorical survey can provide answers to this question. It is because Gagny is one of the 23 towns twinned with Berlin. This kind of approach brings information focused on the social condition and the motivation of individuals who publish content about the Berlin Wall. One last avenue we can follow is the study of personal practices on social media. Indeed, the World Anniversary is an opportunity to share memories or personal archives to relate what everyone was doing on the 9th November 2019. The phenomenon can be studied at the scale of the platform with digital method, and also by participative observation and oral inquiry conducted among Internet users who shared their own content online.
Finally, to explore transnational web sphere related to a theme in a European perspective, we can mix several scales of analysis: global, European, national, subnational, and local scales. These geographical scales complete the information about the historical and the social context in which the content are broadcasted. The objective of my presentation was to show that we have the opportunity to set up a global approach, articulating temporal and spatial issues. I have chosen an event that anybody knows, but we can also apply the crossing of scales to the remembrance of the attacks or to the mediatization of the migrant crisis online. The dimensions of analysis are multiple, and it is impossible for us to follow all these tracks exhaustively. We will therefore have to make choices among these different options, and this choice will depend on the data mining tools we will be able to use and our shared goal. Now, thank you for your attention, and I'm looking forward to meeting you face to face, and now I'll be happy to answer to any question you may have.